For years, Aprilia has established itself as one of the luxury motorcycle brands in the market. But now with its latest offering, it sets out to do something completely new. Compete in the entry-level segment. And it's looking to do that with this, the all-new Aprilia RS 457. So the RS457 is like the Tuono 660's smaller sibling. It's got the signature Aprilia headlamps up front. It actually looks very, very similar to the Tuono. But this one is a proper sport bike. You have this windscreen with a see-through lens that you're gonna need when you're riding on the track. The side mirrors are also mounted on the fairings and boom, they easily fold, again, for when you're riding on the track. But I can't put it back, but there you go. This one also looks a lot more aggressive. You've got more aero bits underneath, and if you compare them side by side, this just looks a tad faster, even if it's much smaller. Now moving on to the back, standard sport bike stuff. You have a small pillion seat, some grab bars, and standard rear foot pegs that you're probably not gonna use. You're probably gonna cover them up. This one also has a tail tidy, so it looks really clean. It looks very, very sporty. Over here, you have this digital instrument panel that has a lot of information. You have your speedometer, your rev gauge, your gear shift indicator, your ride mode indicator. You have a fuel gauge, a side stand indicator, and the temperature gauge. Now you can also tinker with it. You have multiple ride modes, trip A, trip B, complete with fuel consumption, complete with maximum speed. So in case you're riding this on the track, at least you can keep track, no pun intended, of how you were riding. You also have a voltmeter, which is pretty handy. You have an indicator for your maintenance and another temperature gauge. Now, what really makes this a track-ready bike, it has a built-in lap timer. So you can track your laps, you have your time here, you have your top speed, and it also records your best lap. So that's a pretty cool function. It also has smartphone connectivity and a navigation function, both of which, unfortunately, I wasn't able to try. Maybe when I get to try this bike out again for a full review, I'll tinker with that. Now, lastly, you have your ride modes here, your ride mode selector here. With the push of a button, you can change across Eco, Rain, and Sport. When I said this was a track-ready two-wheeler, I meant it. The Aprilia RS 457 definitely rides like a legit sport bike. It's got a very aggressive riding position with rear set foot pegs that will have you knee dragging at any tight corner you take at speed. And right out of the factory, that's something this bike can do. For a quote-unquote entry-level offering, it's incredibly nimble on the road and sharp through twisties. The tires, while they aren't the biggest you'll find in a sport bike, of course, they provide excellent grip. Those 17s underneath are proof that Aprilia didn't scrimp on anything here. It didn't try to save up money on the brakes either. Stopping power in the RS 457 is handled by a 320mm front disc brake with a 4-piston caliper and a 220mm rear disc with a single piston caliper. Those sizable brakes, of course, have ABS backing them up. They provide excellent stopping force that will have the bike stopping in a pinch. Not that you need that much stopping power, of course, because this bike isn't exactly a speed demon. That being said, it's far from being a slouch too, because that 457cc liquid-cooled parallel twin engine packs quite the punch. It's capable of producing 47.6 horsepower at 9,400 RPM and 43.5 Nm of torque at 6,700 RPM. Far better than what you get from most motorcycles in this weight division. The high revving powertrain is very lively and it's a joy to ring out on the highway. If you want an even more spirited ride, you can also switch your ride mode to dynamic to open up more power. Now, this being a real sport bike, that also means it can be tiring to ride. A guy like me with a big tummy was still able to find the right riding position, but it didn't take long before my back started to feel sore. But regardless of physique, I doubt anyone will ride this and say comfort is one of its strong points, because it really isn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because this is a sport bike through and through. It's built for fun outings on the track, not leisurely breakfast rides on Sundays. 348,000 pesos. That's the starting price of the RS 457. That makes it more affordable than any other expressway legal Aprilia ever sold in the Philippines. For that amount, you get a track-focused sport bike that probably just needs a few upgrades here and there, and it'll be ready to hit the circuit every weekend. Is that a good deal? I think so.